The awakened empath represents the narcissist's most formidable adversary, not because they've learned to fight with the same weapons, but because they've transcended the battlefield entirely. After years of absorbing manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional abuse, the empath's transformation from willing victim to enlightened opponent catches the narcissist completely off guard. They mistake the empath's previous compassion for permanent weakness, never anticipating that their greatest strength, the ability to see truth clearly, would eventually turn against them with devastating precision. The surgical precision of complete understanding. The empath's years of studying the narcissist's patterns, motivations, and vulnerabilities were initially driven by love and the desperate hope of healing their partner. But this intimate knowledge transforms into a weapon of devastating accuracy once the empath stops trying to fix and starts protecting themselves. They understand every trigger, every insecurity, and every carefully hidden fear that the narcissist has revealed during moments of perceived safety. Unlike other opponents who attack the narcissist's false self, the awakened empath strikes at the core wounds that created the narcissistic defense system in the first place. They can dismantle the narcissist's carefully constructed facade with a few precisely chosen words, exposing the terrified child beneath the grandiose exterior. This level of psychological penetration feels like emotional surgery performed without anesthesia. The empath's understanding extends beyond surface behaviors to the underlying psychological machinery that drives the narcissist's actions. They can predict reactions, anticipate manipulations, and counter-move with an accuracy that leaves the narcissist feeling transparent and powerless. The very person who once made them feel seen and understood now uses that same clarity to render them completely defenseless. The immunity built through painful education. The fed-up empath has developed psychological antibodies to every form of manipulation in the narcissist's arsenal. Love bombing feels hollow, guilt trips bounce harmlessly off their newfound boundaries, and rage attacks are met with calm indifference. The empath has been inoculated against the narcissist's toxicity through repeated exposure, building an immunity that makes them completely resistant to future manipulation attempts. This immunity extends beyond defensive measures to active offense. The empath can now recognize manipulation attempts in real time, calling them out with a clarity that destroys their effectiveness. They refuse to engage in the emotional chaos that once fed the narcissist's need for drama, instead responding with devastating composure that reveals the narcissist's tactics as desperate and pathetic. The empath's transformation from reactive victim to strategic opponent creates a psychological whiplash that shatters the narcissist's sense of control. They can no longer provoke the emotional responses that once validated their power, leaving them feeling impotent and increasingly desperate. The empath's refusal to participate in the familiar dance of dysfunction forces the narcissist to confront their own emptiness without their usual emotional fuel. The mirror that reflects uncomfortable truth. The awakened empath becomes a living mirror that reflects back the narcissist's authentic self, rather than their carefully crafted image. They can see through every performance, every manipulation, and every false emotion with a clarity that makes the narcissist feel completely exposed. This constant truth-telling becomes unbearable for someone whose entire identity depends on maintaining illusions. The empath's newfound ability to remain emotionally detached while accurately describing the narcissist's behavior creates a devastating form of psychological exposure. They can articulate the narcissist's patterns with clinical precision, making them visible to others who might have previously been fooled by the narcissistic charm. This truth-telling destroys the narcissist's ability to maintain their false narrative. The fed-up empath's greatest weapon is their complete withdrawal of the emotional energy that once sustained the narcissistic relationship. They become psychologically unavailable, emotionally unreachable, and strategically invisible, leaving the narcissist to face their own reflection without the distorting mirror of their victim's pain to make them feel powerful.